Hi Virgo, it's Raina. Welcome to your March 2017 Love Tarot reading. So the big news in March that relates to love is that Venus, the planet of love and, romance and beauty, is going to be retrograding on March 4th and going for you, it's starting off in Aries, and Aries is your 8th house, okay? And then it's going to be going back into your 7th house, so that's interesting. So Venus starts off in your 8th house, and it will be in these houses for quite a while, because then it has to go back to the degree where it began the retrograde, which is 13 Aries. It's not even halfway through the sign, and so that makes it even take longer in that 8th house. Okay, so we're looking at issues of intimacy as well as committed partnership. Okay, so Venus in these houses, maybe some harmony. Maybe there was something that needs to get kind of settled between you and a partner. And it has to do with really being committed to that person. Maybe you questioned that your spouse really loved you. And that brought up issues, because the 8th house is like getting down deep. Not just about, I have a marriage certificate, so here's the proof that I love you, And there may be inheritance issues, because Venus can also deal with money. So in the 8th house, it could be like, introducing those matters, going back into that issue, and then going back in the 7th house. So that may even have something to do with law cases. I was going to say lawsuits, but it doesn't have to be lawsuits. It could be anything, court cases is what I meant to say. So just wanted to give you that possible alternative, because it's not going to affect everybody in the same way, obviously. Okay, well, I picked both of these cards, so I'm going to put these for the past position. I don't do that too much, but I'll just put it like that. And I will be picking another card, because the 5 of Pentacles is not a card that is, as an outcome card, it's hard to think of it that way. Okay, so let me just take a look at this, because I do have now, whenever there's a Venus retrograde, there can be somebody from the past that's coming in for you, okay? You may have a lot of people around you, to tell you the truth, because I did pick these 2 cards in tandem for your past. The Knight of Pentacles is associated with, particularly with Taurus, Virgo. I associate it with Capricorn, but it's the energy of somebody who is very, the first word that came to mind was plodding, in terms of just going to work and making money and coming home and just wanting to amass money for financial security. Now, they may have a goal. They may be trying to save for a down payment for a house or something like that. But there's a kind of a workhorse vibe to it. And then right next to it, we have the 2 of Cups. So it could be that you reunited with this person, or it could be that they reunited with their past person, and that left you in a position. And actually, sorry for the mess, Virgo. You may not like that. The Queen of Cups is a double feminine energy. So there is a lot of intuitive understanding of life. The way that the person is interacting with life is not just purely logical. It's really like looking below the surface and sensing what's happening. So it can be, I think for some of you, it is a question of you got back together with somebody, but you're not sure that it was the right move. And they always say that if you do get together with somebody during a Venus retrograde, that you may later on be like, what was I thinking? But this is a card of somebody who is very nurturing, kind-hearted, sensitive, and creative. Could be, downright artistic. And very fertile. So definitely a motherly kind of an energy. So so if you are a mother, then that may be influencing your decision. I do feel some of you have a decision to make, maybe between two people, and because we have the number 2, but you may be thinking in terms of, well, this is the father of my child. I'm just using that as an example. You could just say the father or mother of my child, but this is, this is this is my child's other parent, and I am feeling obligated on that level to be with that person, whether or not you really have. Also, the Knight of Pentacles could mean that the person is a very good provider. They're very responsible, okay? And there's that sense of, that this person is somebody you can count on, okay? But you have this dilemma. Now, it can be that you're choosing between an earth sign and a fire sign. Obviously, without even telling you characteristics, you can kind of get the gist of things, that the fire sign person is going to be more exciting. They're going to be more, they could be more uplifting. They could be more enthusiastic about life. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. I would say that if I had to be a betting person, it would be more likely either a Sagittarius or a Leo than an Aries person, because Sag forms a square with Virgo, so they sometimes find themselves attracted to one another, and Leo is right next to you, adjacent astrologically, so they can find themselves next to each other, literally next to each other. But that could be like the overall theme, is that one person really kind of lights your fire, makes you excited, but maybe isn't that predictable. I was going to say dependable. And that kind of like makes you a little bit leery. This other person is totally somebody that is going to be there, you can count on. And yet it's like a stocks versus a savings account, where you're guaranteed to get X number of interest, or this. There's always like that element of risk. If you have fire in your own chart, you may be more inclined to be with somebody like that and not really appreciate the dependability of that other person. Okay, so that can be at play here. And the other thing too is that this card represents either staying where you are physically or possibly moving to a different location. So that can also be in your, in the back of your mind. And this could be for work specifically. The higher message is the Four of Cups. This is a card that indicates possible dissatisfaction in your life when it comes to somebody on the emotional level. So I think what it's saying is, and this is like on the spiritual level, if you're not feeling enthused by somebody, don't blow it off, because it will come back to you. Virgo is the kind of person that gets the rap of being very nondescript and all about business and all this stuff. But Virgos are actually very interesting people. And so you need to be stimulated mentally, intellectually, because you're ruled by Mercury. You need to communicate with people. You're not going to do very well. I don't care if the person's an earth sign. He better or she better have something to say. And it can't just be about, well, oh yeah, work went well today. You want to explore things a lot more than that. And so that could be, a strike against a fellow earth sign, being, you being compatible. Again, with the Two of Cups, it could be like reuniting with someone, and in that glow of reuniting with them, you think everything's okay, and then you realize this isn't where it's at. I'm not really feeling it. The Queen of Cups senses things on a deeper level and wants things on a deeper level. So this card, the other thing about this card is somebody is offering you love, but you may not be in that state of appreciation because you're not getting what you want. So you may need an attitude adjustment, but on the other hand, you may be blasé because you're not feeling like your choices are all that good. In the sense that even if there's somebody else that you're interested in, you're not sure that they can be reliable. And so that kind of bothers you too. It's like, why can't I, have a combination of these two people? And I could have reliability and excitement. And that's maybe what is kind of driving you crazy here. The card that's challenging you is the Six of Pentacles. So it could be that the earth sign person is going to be problematic in some way. Maybe they always have been, and you've just been kind of like, sweeping it under the rug. Maybe that was not a good relationship the first time around, and you were just, when you got back together with this person, especially if the person left you and then you took them back, that can be, I could totally see that scenario, because sometimes people are the ones that get left and they are waiting, for this person to come back. But then the person comes back and you realize that you were better off being alone. So that might be one of those situations. This person may be trying to either keep you in a position of dependency. So they may be like, if this person is a workaholic, or they have they're very ambitious, they may be saying, you stay home with the kid, Maybe you're a mother and your partner wants you to quit your job because they want a parent to be raising the child. And that's a completely admirable thing to do. But the only thing is, who gets to stay at home, or who has to stay at home, depending on if they see it as some kind of a punishment, because some people feel like their careers are very important to them. And even though, being a parent is like probably the most important thing you can do, but there are other things that people want to do as well. And this is a person holding scales. So there's some kind of a thing of like, okay, who's doing what? The fairness angle. Are both people getting what they want from the situation? The advice is Four of Swords. So this is about withdrawing and reflecting and resting. You may have to, if you are, if you have reunited with someone and you are in the same physical space, you may have to find some room or space for yourself so that you can, that you're not constantly in interaction with that person, because you may have decisions that you have to make that are difficult to make, and that other person's constant influence may create a difficulty in you making that decision. And so, sometimes people probably, when they see this card come up, they're probably like, well, I can't go away into a retreat. I have to be at home, and this person that I'm not sure I want to be with, they're going to be there. How can I get some alone time? And you're just going to have to figure something out. There are ways to do it. You can even just go. You don't even have to do it in the home. You can just carve a day out for yourself where you just take off. Obviously, if you have kids, that can be a little bit tricky, and you might have to get up early in the morning. If you have kids, you may have to do something like that. But if you don't have children, you can say, just have a day for yourself, and you go off into nature, hopefully. But if it's too cold or you can't do that, then you can do it some other way, and just make a commitment to having some kind of a plan of what you're going to do. The number 4 relates to stability. And also, it's interesting, this was a number 4 too, and that would be stability of moods. But this is like using your thoughts to create stability in your life. And you can just, bring pen and paper and just, kind of create your ideal future right now. Because it may be a situation where you can't just snap your fingers and if you've gotten yourself into something that is, over your head, then, you're not going to be able to just extricate yourself right away. And you don't have to. You can do it a little step by little step. Because I was even thinking with the 2 of Cups in the former position, you may have remarried your spouse. And that may be why it's hard to take that action. The outcome is that I did pick the 5 of Pentacles, but I also picked the 7 of Cups along with it. The 5 of Pentacles connects with the idea of lack consciousness, of seeing the glass half empty, of not having a sense of, I would say in every area, self-empowerment, a feeling of being able to do certain things. And so this is like an inside job. This is something you're going to have to work with, those feelings that you have. Nobody else can really, do anything to convince you, especially if you have to let go of a relationship. Nobody can do that except for you. But it starts with that idea of, what do I believe about life, about my ability to attract good to me? And how am I, what kind of limitations do I have that make me think that I can't have these things? And why do, in other words, that's what causes people to settle for less. And the Knight of Pentacles I picked for that past position, that person is somebody who is striving to kind of get ahead and to have financial security. And that person may be an admirable, constructive person. But if that is the only quality, if you just see that that quality, you may miss whether or not the person's incompatible with you in other areas. And that could be problematic, obviously. Because somebody being a good breadwinner is not enough to sustain a relationship. If they're abusive, if they, if you just don't click, intellectually, spiritually. And this is a card of over-materialism as well. So that could be, what is at the root of everything and what you have to really work on. And the Seven of Cups along with this is realizing that you may be kind of confusing things. You may be confusing, maybe you have a very strong physical connection with this person, but spiritually or intellectually, it's just not there. And maybe another thing that could be happening is that it's telling you to make good choices, because you may get something that looks dazzling, but it's fool's gold. And that's kind of like what that Knight of Pentacles could, represent, knight in shining armor, but it may not be what it seems. And the person who is a fire sign may seem unstable in certain ways, but they may turn out to be someone that you can really build a future with. What this card represents is telling you have a choice. I think ultimately it's saying there's not just one path you can choose. And you may be debating things, but you may not feel like you know which way to go. Well, maybe now is not the time to act. Maybe you just need to allow things to progress, and you'll be able to see in a short time which path to take. So Virgo, I hope you enjoyed this. If you'd like a private reading, please click on the link below. Otherwise, have a great March. Bye.